Hello, my name is Chris Rintle, and today we're going to be discussing multimodal resource for Assessment 1A based on multiliteracies. So first things we focus on is why literacy is in the classroom. Literacy is recognised today as a major factor of all educational success in this continuously evolving digital age where new technologies are rapidly becoming an ambiguous part of a child's life at school and beyond. So, how more importantly, why should educators should embrace change to utilize an environment that is saturated with information, sound, and images? Literacy generally encompasses the knowledge and skills that students need to access, understand, evaluate information, make meaning, express thoughts and emotions, present ideas and opinions, interact with others, and participate in activities at schools in their lives beyond school and at school. This also generally includes students managing their own learning to be self-sufficient, working harmoniously with others, being open to ideas, opinions, and texts from and about diverse cultures, and being prepared to question meaning and assumption in text. We have to look at the perspective that the word literate, historically in English, has meant to be more familiar with literature, or generally well educated, as learned in the late 19th century, where it was more specifically catered to the abilities to read and write text with a broader meaning to be more knowledgeable in a particular field. We notice that learners acquire set of skills to assist subsequently to build comprehension ability, having mastered said skills. And this is viewed as an expert step and to comprehend what they read. But when it came to writing, it was always about expression and creativity that was always held to value. It wasn't until about the 1960s that the teaching of writing was always simply relying on grammatical rules and standard uses of English. The development literacy uh, the development of literacy skills has evolved, and for quite some time there's been a range of approaches that focus on literacy as a far more cognitive and social process, as well as beyond the familiarization of literature. So, we then move down to the focus of why do we use the term multiliteracies. It's important to note that becoming literate is not simply that of knowledge and skills, particular behaviors and dispositions for students to become confident and motivated in regards to literacy. With the increased exposure to a range of multimodal communication and creation tools, literacy is now often referred as literacies, or new literacies, or as we can see, the actual term, multiliteracies. It was first used by the New London Group to encapsulate a wider view of literacy, taking into account the impact of the increase of communication channels and the prominence of culture and linguistic diversity in the world. Christine Edward goes further to state that being overly simplistic to suggest that technology has transformed in the face of social interaction and educational practice. Multiliteracy's pedagogy approach means that text is often non-linear, as linear text is often integrated with multimodal text, which includes audio, image, sound, graphics, and film through technology. This approach enables teachers to be more creative in the literacy classroom by integrating movies, music, the internet, art, photos, and a range of digital resources. And from that literacy perspective, the Australian curriculum requires educators to use and produce multimodal texts. Because we have to also consider that since the Industrial Revolution, significant technological and socio-economic and cultural changes have taken place, and traditional educations have always been challenged because of the rise of technology. So there has to be an element of change there. We have a focus on how 21st century literacies impact our students. You see, learning places and practices are no longer bound by the four walls of the classroom in the 21st century, as 21st century literacy is being shaped and defined by the demand of students that can design, produce, and present multimodal text that displays their learning abilities. Technology is digitally connected fabrics of our society now allow students to create and communicate creatively to and with complexity. As they have on-demand access to internet, instant messaging, blogs, Facebook, social media, and the like, they are broadening the expectations of what is described as the third space of learning. Practicing a text construction interpretation is a big challenge to educators as to reconceptualize that which is bringing frantic, valid, and relevant reading and writing experience to students in and beyond the classroom. So we have a quick focus on what's actually occurring in the classroom as using a high school as an example. A digital annotation tool such as Explain Everything, Spell It, and Notability continue to engage students in the phonographic approach to spelling, whereas music videos and humorous YouTube clips can be used to examine and respond to text and image in contact with communications of ideas that is not limited by the application or device, rather allowing students to present in ways that suit their learning dispositions to arise from activities that target a particular audience or respond to a need or a created intent. Exposure to safe and supervised digital communication and application of interpersonal skills online can be enhanced with parents accounts that can engage with family and classroom learning, along with teachers having the array of tools to collect data to engage digitally with their students. With access to interactive multi-hide books and school ebooks and audiobook libraries to encourage readers, the right tools to support an array of abilities and styles enable teachers and learning assistants aides to gain knowledge of accessibility across a range of devices that can support students with voiceover and predictive text and speech functionalities. Students engaging with emerging technologies such as coding to gain a deeper understanding of programming and development computational thinking skills allow them to tap into resources that enables global connections and collaborations and provides answers that Google can simply not just answer. Focus with learning experiences such as a live Facebook advertisement demo, they can provide publications for inquiry and possible conceptual understanding and questions. With technology advertising and the way that we can see it influences, these are some examples that start to demonstrate how 21st century literacies can be developed and more broadly with technology use are not being used in isolation so that our students can describe these engagements with multimodal literacies with insight into their learning. Moving on to participatory culture, Australian statistics frequently show the significance children identified in relation to technology with media consumption. Jenkins and others identify the importance of facilitating participatory culture as he suggests that this is the new hidden creature that must be recognized with importance to address three concerning issues in the participation gap, specifically the equal access to opportunities for all students before participation in the future transparency problem. Because he also broke it down to 5 other aspects as well. With relatively low bars of engagement, strong support for sharing creations with others, informal mentorship, members believing that their contribution matter and care about others' opinions of self and work. This in turn goes in hand with ICT capability to enable that social and ethical protocols are in play and that within the circle you can see on your screen, it all rolls in together as one. So what do we focus? How does this all relate to professional learning to ignite literacy, multi-literacy? We look at the three circles we have here: pedagogical knowledge, technological knowledge, content knowledge. Now, idealistically, in a perfect world, we all be focusing on and having a TPAC element. But what we need to look at in the roles of literacy for each and one of us is to critically literate themselves. So recognize your own beliefs and biases, ideological and